Welcome, it's Denome, and you're watching This Week in Crypto, where I talk about the major news that happened in crypto and Bitcoin last week, as well as I will give you my predictions for Bitcoin and Ethereum and some of the altcoins for the coming week as well. So if you think this is interesting, you know what to do, and let's just get started. So this week, we're actually going to start with Ethereum USD chart, then we're going to take a look at Bitcoin chart, and then we're going to talk about the biggest news this week. And then finally, I will reveal my altcoin picks for the coming week as well. So if you want to see those are at the end of the video as well. Anyway, if we take a look at Ethereum chart, why I want to showcase this first is that we're doing a really cool candle pattern currently. So if we take a look at this candle pattern, it's called a bullish flag. And if we take a look at the theory of bullish flag, you basically measure the move from the bottom here to the top of the channel, and then from the bottom of the channel to basically you just copy this leg again and paste it here to get the target price. So what you can do here is basically simply take the bottom here, put to the top here, and then just Control C, Control V, copy paste that and put it here. So that would basically bring Ethereum to $670 this week, and that would bring a new all-time high for Ethereum if that actually happens. And Ethereum, it already broke through this channel, which is really good. The only issue I have with this one is that basically there is zero volume on this move. So it could still be a fake out. We are actually not quite sure, but for now it's still holding these. It hasn't dropped here, which is still good. And if we just, even if we bring it here, I don't know, it's not perfect, to be honest. So it could still be a fake out. I'm not 100% sure. I'm definitely following up on this, but even on the short term, I am still quite bullish. And even if Bitcoin and Ethereum go sideways, that's still fine. And even if we go to Bitcoin chart here, this is a really important chart to look at as well. Let's go back to the big view here. There are a few things that I want to point out on this chart on Bitcoin. First is the same thing that I actually pointed out on a new altcoin season is here. Here's why, where we took a look at some of the fundamentals of Bitcoin as well. But here, if you just take a look at this move here, it is basically the same exact price action. So this dump is the same dump as here, and now we came back to touch this line here, and we actually had a bounce from there. So it's very, very interesting that this is still playing out the same as it did earlier. So if that will be doing the same thing here, we will probably make a new all-time high here and then go sideways. Another thing that I want to point out here is that since March, we have only been printing higher lows. Like there's basically zero hiccups in between anywhere here. So that's a really good and strong trend indicator as well, that we're still continuing to print more green numbers. Really good. And just let's go to the hourly chart, because there's some interesting stuff happening here on Bitcoin as well. So if we take a look at this one, you can see that we had this trending move to the downside, and we had a double bottom formation here, and then we spring upwards. So Bitcoin, it went and touched the 19,000, almost 400 here, and now we're here. So still really good. And yeah, what I personally expect is that Bitcoin will do that 20,000 here, and then we will be having some sideways action. But again, history always doesn't repeat as perfectly as you would expect, but all in all, I'm still bullish on Bitcoin. I'm still bullish on altcoins. One thing that did not happen since my last video from Saturday is that if you take a look at Bitcoin market cap dominance, Bitcoin actually broke to the upside from this support line, and then it came and touched this line again. So basically, Bitcoin is still leading the charge on the Bitcoin market cap dominance as well. So I was pretty much hoping that we will go down and go to the 52% level, but it looks like Bitcoin will still hang on here. So altcoin is a little bit delayed, but that's fine. If we take a look at the altcoins, they are still pumping across the board. So I'll showcase that later on in this video anyway. So even if Bitcoin is going up, altcoins were not actually taking a hit from that move, which is really good for altcoins as well as Bitcoin as well as the whole crypto market, that everything is basically just going up currently. So Now let's talk about some news, and then I will go and talk about altcoins as well. So from here, this got invalidated, so I don't know really what to say about the Bitcoin market cap dominance, except Bitcoin is still holding this level, which is good for Bitcoin at least. Anyway, let's talk about the news now. So the first thing that you have to be careful about is that Mt. Gox users will get $2.6 billion worth of Bitcoin tomorrow. So this is important news. So 140,000 Bitcoin is supposed to be released by tomorrow. So I don't know if they will do this. They have already announced a lot of delays, but even now we're on 14th of December and they haven't announced any delay. So according to plan, these are supposed to be released tomorrow. So when 100,000 Bitcoin will enter the market, I would expect at least somebody to take profit from that. So we'll see if that happens. But the cool thing here on this article is actually this tweet here, because this tweet by Ki Yong-yu, he posted this link to CryptoQuant, and CryptoQuant is a service that I'm currently using to track the exchange balances that I showcased in the previous video on Saturday as well. And if you actually open this, what you will see is, let me see if I can, it's here. So let me bring there, yeah. So it will bring you to here. And what you can do is you can just create a free account here, and you can set up an alert for the Mt. Gox reserves. So when you are on this window, you basically just select Mt. Gox here, and you can see that they currently have 137,890 Bitcoin on their reserves. So whenever the exchange flow goes above or actually goes below 137,8 let's say 85. So when this number goes below this number, it will send you a Telegram or an email message, so you can take action that, okay, they are actually sending out the Bitcoin right now, so you know what to do, and you will be one of the first people to actually react to that one. So you can set up an alert here, and it will help you to act fast, because I may not be early enough to make a video when that actually happens, so you pretty much want to make an alert here. Anyway, that's it for that. Make an alert here because tomorrow is an important day, if they will release it or not. So be careful for that. Next big news is that ECB, which is the European Central Bank, they just announced that they will be printing 500 billion euro more, and yeah, they will just print more money. So basically, for now, they were printing 20 billion euro per day. So now they increased it to 40 billion euro per day, basically doubling the money printing that is going on in Europe. And of course, this is really bullish for Bitcoin, because money is basically losing its value because there's more supply out there chasing to maintain the purchasing power as well. So that's it for that news. Really good for Bitcoin as well, but of course bad for the average people. Next, France, they actually just banned anonymous crypto accounts, so because of money laundering. So on December 9th, several ministries, they made an order to prevent anonymous digital asset transactions by banning anonymous crypto accounts. And this was done because because there was an arrest involving a terrorist financial network using digital assets. And I was curious to know more about this story, and it was a little bit hilarious in my opinion, which of course terrorism is not hilarious, but if you take a look at this one, there was a terror ring going on here. And if you take a look at it, it's two French jihadists in their mid-20s that were caught. And they were busted after being caught purchasing cryptocurrency coupons worth between 10 and 150 euros each. So I don't know what you think about this one, but it just doesn't seem like a major concern in my opinion. If they can finance their operations with this kind of money, I don't exactly know that if this is the biggest problem in the world right now. I don't know, maybe it's a lot bigger than this article is speaking about, but to me it didn't sound like a real big threat. It was just something they just wanted to ban the anonymous crypto transactions. So this was the excuse that they used to do that, in my opinion. But that's just me looking at it. Because if we take a look at an earlier news from September this year, JP Morgan and Deutsche Bank, and they were basically caught in money laundering scheme. And if you take a look at this one, they International Consortium of Investigative Journalists found 5 global banks were moving staggering sums of illicit cash for shadowy characters and criminal networks. So they found $2 trillion worth of transactions between 20 years that were done through JP Morgan and Deutsche Bank, for example. So I think this is just a much bigger problem, this central banks, than are these cryptocurrency coupons, in my opinion. So I don't know why it's suddenly like you have to ban almost all crypto transactions in France for this, but I do believe that this is also the trend going forward, is that more countries will want to ban anonymous crypto accounts just because they want to preserve whatever currency they have, and they want people to hold their bags basically on their shitty fiat currencies. Anyway, that's it for this news. Tell me what you think about this one. I think it's I didn't find this reasonable to ban basically the whole industry because of 2 French jihadists in their mid-20s. Anyway, let's go forward. Next one. Crypto funds have seen record investment inflows in recent weeks. This was December 8th. And this one, last week, or the previous week already, there was an inflow of $429 million in that week alone. And the largest ever weekly inflow was 3 weeks ago, or now 4 weeks ago, $468 million. So a lot of inflow is now flowing into Bitcoin as well as other cryptocurrency funds. So this is a massive move, and this is just really good for crypto adoption as well. So as you can see here, basically only this year there has been $15 billion worth of assets under management for different crypto funds out there. And contrast to that, there was only less than $3 billion at the end of 2019. So the crypto funds have basically gone about 6 times from what they were in 2019. So this is really good, and a lot of crypto funds are still just buying and buying and buying. So this is really good and pushing the prices upwards, of course. Next one, it's this one. MicroStrategy plans a $400 million capital raise to buy more Bitcoin. So basically they are just selling their convertible senior notes to private investors so they could buy more Bitcoin. So they announced this one, and just something which I thought was a good answer is actually from Peter Schiff. And he's basically saying here that since Michael Saylor, I think he's the CEO, or at least the founder of, CEO of MicroStrategy, he publicly announced that they will be buying this Bitcoin before they actually bought the Bitcoin. I don't know if they already settled with the price before he actually announced that or not, but he's basically saying here that because he announced it before buying it, traders are actually pushing the prices upwards. So it was a little bit of a mistake from Saylor to announce buying more Bitcoin before they actually bought more. So I don't know what actually happened here. It could have been a mistake from Michael Saylor, but of course for us who just hold Bitcoin, whatever the case is, we don't really care for the stock price of MicroStrategy. What we care about is the price of Bitcoin, right? So if they go forward and they actually do that $400 million purchase, that is super good for Bitcoin and crypto markets as well. Anyway, those are pretty much the biggest news from this week. So now let's talk about altcoins. So definitely there's bullish things going on, but what you have to really care for is what happens tomorrow with the Mt. Gox money that is being supposedly released. So be careful for that. So now let's talk about the crypto markets. Basically, if you take a look at the 7-day moves from last week, you have Polkastarter making another 50% gain. If you are still holding Polkastarter, consider starting to sell your position. I actually did sell all of my Elrond Gold this week because I made a massive investment this week into a coin that I will talk about later. Cartesi made a good move. I also sold my CTSI. Index is making good moves as well. Nexo still making some good moves. really good, but I don't think Nexo is as interesting of an investment anymore than it was before, because now we are already at $300 million market capital compared to Celsius Network, which is $900 million. So Nexo is only 1/3 of that, but I do believe that Celsius Network has just a lot more assets under their belt than Nexo. So I don't think Nexo is as interesting currently as maybe Celsius even. So just consider, if you are holding Nexo tokens, to do some rebalancing as well, because it already had a really good run so far. This was a coin that I picked last week, and it had a 20% pump from last week. Super good to see this one. This is a coin that I actually missed last week. So this was at $0.28 G gas token, and now it's at $0.35. I made a video about this earlier, that you can make these predictable trades with it, and I was looking at it at 0.28, like, okay, I should probably buy this, but I did not press the button because I was doing the Unidexbot transactions, and I was just completely absorbed by that, so I sort of missed this opportunity. And if you're just still holding G gas tokens, consider selling them, because if we take a look at the Ethereum gas prices, you can see that the gas prices have already plummeted here, basically stabilized again. So I'm expecting the price of G token to actually go lower from here again. So consider selling some if you haven't yet. That's just there. Then XIO making another good move here. Personally, I'm starting to think about selling XIO tokens. They now have the airdrops currently happening. So every 100 XIO that you hold or you provide liquidity with on Uniswap, you get 5 flash tokens every single day until the end of December. So still about 16-17 days left of December. So whenever you hold these, you get more flash tokens, but I'm expecting, because the airdrops stops at December, that the price actually tanks before the end of December. So consider selling your XIO position, at least some of your XIO, before the end of December, so you can get actually some profit from that one as well. Of course, you get the flash tokens, which is still good, but yeah, just a little bit of a warning there that whenever the airdrop stops, that's when the price will tank as well. Same thing happened with XRP as well. So if we take a look at XRP, they had the airdrop and then they had this dump here. And I don't know how valuable XRP is going forward without the Spark airdrop, but I still think it's a little bit elevated on the price. So just keep that in mind as well. So just talking about the opportunities for next week, or for this week actually, Orion. This I would be really careful with right now as well, because if you take a look at Orion, you have to understand that they had the private sale where the vesting period will see a release of new tokens to the early investors. So the next airdrop that will happen is actually December 16th. So the mainnet will actually launch for Orion tomorrow, which is still good. But on 16th, you will see a massive token release for the early investors. So I'm actually expecting Orion to tank when that happens. So be mindful for this one, because when that happens, usually it follows up with a crash in price. And usually the crash is only like 1 day or so. So on 16th, look for an opportunity to buy Orion tokens on 16th as well, at the end of 16th or something like that. So that as an opportunity. Don't buy it yet, but it's on my list this week that it will have a really good entry point if you are patient and wait until the tokens are actually released and there's a crash in price as well. So keep that in mind. But they will try to pretty much hide it with the hype news that will happen tomorrow when the mainnet goes live, and they will probably want to ramp up their marketing when the mainnet and the terminal goes live tomorrow. So that will be super good for our Orion, but I'm expecting a good entry point at 16th. Just that. Of course, I could be wrong there, but just keep that in mind. That there will be a lot of supply released. So if you take a look at this one, basically I don't know even how many that is. How many zeros is that? 325 million? Yeah, 5 million tokens almost are being released on 16th. So a lot of inflation coming to Orion as well. Next, the opportunities for this week. DOS Network had a 30% dump here, so that could be an interesting one, but really the good opportunity here in my opinion is actually XDAI stake. 30% dump. on potentially a layer 2 solution for Ethereum. So this one could be a really good pick this week, to be honest. Just looking at this, how much it actually dropped from last week. UBT could be an interesting one. I'm not exactly sure for that. I would not touch REN currently because of how little the REN BTC, there's not a lot of REN BTC being minted anymore on the REN network, so I would be a little bit careful for REN, so I'm not recommending that one. I don't exactly know what's happening with Acro, so I'm not recommending that one. XOR, this is another Polkadot ecosystem coin. As you know, XOR and Pulse, and because Pulse has had this massive pump here, I do believe that XOR will follow that. Another coin for this week is actually Polkadot. It had a sideways move from basically last week, so at under $5, Polkadot, that could be an interesting pick, because Polkadot will be one of the leaders for 2021 when they actually release, if it actually delivers all the promises that they are supposed to deliver. So Polkadot could be an interesting pick under $5 here. Of course, Band, this is a token that I bought this week, and then the token that I actually bought a massive amount of. So I currently have 27,000 Swipe tokens currently, and I am going to upgrade to the Swipe Slate card. So I made a Telegram poll earlier last week, and I asked how many people in my group were going to upgrade to the Slate card, which requires 30,000 SXP tokens, because if you actually refer Slate owners, you will get $1,500, as well as the person who upgrades will also get $1,500. So here, this is basically the program. Both the referral and the referral will get $1,500 if they upgrade to the card. So I'm gonna do that, and 12 people said that they will actually use my code. So that's a lot of supply coming to taken out from circulation if anyone actually follows up on what they said in that poll. Personally, maybe one person will actually follow up on that, but I don't know how many will actually do that or not. But for me, I'm gonna upgrade this one, and whoever uses my code afterwards will use my code. So I'll only need 3,000 SXP more, which I will get this week, and I'm trying to work out my KYC process and everything with Swipe this week, so I can actually get the card, and I will make a review video later on. So I've talked with some Swipe owners already, and they are actually quite happy with the card. So I'm getting this card, just so you know. I'm getting the 30,000 SXP. I have sold a lot of my altcoins that I had like only small amounts of, so I will make an update video on my portfolio later on, maybe this week or next week. I don't know exactly know, but anyway, this is the token that I've been buying a lot of this week, just because how low the price is. And another reason why I bought SXP token, just 30,000, is of course you get the 8% cashback, you get 30% APY just by holding it, because you get the on-chain staking rewards for SXP. Tokenomics are pretty good. They just released Canada, so you can actually get this card on Canada as well. And finally, the biggest reason why I actually bought this is that I have a strategy which goes like this: buy low, sell high. Buy low, sell high. Just that's the simplest strategy that you can ever find. And to me, Swipe is currently low. So if you are getting this, you're not at least buying it high just by looking at this. Anyone can tell you that it's not high just looking at this chart here. So that is the biggest reason why I want to hold Swipe. And yeah, that's basically my biggest investment from last week is this one. Anyway, that's a little bit chilling, but anyway, that's what I'm getting. Next one, I think that's pretty much everything. Was there some? Oh yeah. There are two coins that I'm actually gonna review this week. So I don't know if I will make the videos this week or not, but there are two coins that I'm currently looking at quite hard. One is Alpha Finance. These are doing some interesting stuff, and I did or one of the people who is following me on Telegram, he did an in-depth research on Alpha, and he said that it actually is really good. So I need to do my due diligence this week myself. Another one that I may do a review on this week or next week is actually Swing token, and the market cap here is only $3 million, and they're basically bringing wrapped BTC into Ethereum and into other chains as well. But here's the thing.
they are doing it in a decentralized fashion. So currently, if you want to have wrapped BTC, you have to go through a centralized body to get it. But they have actually managed to get that same token being minted in a decentralized manner and also cross-chain. So this looks really, really good in my opinion, but I don't know the exact details, so I'm gonna leave it at that for this video. I'll do my due diligence this week, but these are basically 2 coins that I'm currently watching quite closely. Anyway, that's pretty much it for this week's video. Unit export, there's really not much going on. The Acro and wrapped ETH are going well. I had some CRO USDC trade going on here and Uni USDC trades going on here, but they haven't done almost anything here. And with Pulse, Pulse just pumped so hard that this is pretty much stuck here after 1 trade. So not a lot going on with unit export from last week with my trades here, but it's still passively trading here, so it's still really well, at least good in my opinion. Anyway, I need to add more gas here as well. Anyway, that's it for this video. A lot of updates going on. Be careful for tomorrow. Set up the alert for yourself if Mt. Gox funds are being moved, because that will basically change the whole sentiment. Personally, I'm 50-50 if that will happen or not. But if that happens, everything I said, all the coin picks that I said, it's better to hold cash instead. So just be mindful of the Mt. Gox situation. Anyway, that's it for this video. Hope you liked it. I will see you on the next video.